Guys, in today's video, B2 and I are going to teach you how to hit your ground strokes with control, consistency, and power. So if you're ready, let's get started. All right, guys, I'm excited to bring this video to you because control, consistency, and power, think about it. If you can master all three of those, you're going to be a heck of a tennis player, win a lot of matches, and have a lot of fun on the court. So before I show you, how to hit the ball with control, consistency, and power, let's talk about each one so you really understand the benefits of them, because they're a little different, especially control and consistency, right? Control is the ability to not only make shots, but control and place the ball to different areas of the court. Also to control the different paces that you hit at. Lots of people, they hit one pace, one height to one spot, and then they become very predictable. So when you're thinking about getting control over a ball, you're just not thinking about being consistent, which is making a lot of shots, because there's lots of players out there who can make a lot of balls, but they're not very creative with the ball. They don't have a lot of control over the ball. They just kind of put the ball in over and over again, which by itself can win a lot of matches. But when you learn how to control a ball and hit a ball deep and high, and then maybe then drive a ball down the line, now all of a sudden you're a more complex player. You're more dangerous to deal with. And then finally, power. I just got back from the Western Southern Open, and watching the men and the women play, you can see on tour, power is a premium, and at times it's overwhelming. When someone can serve big and hit ground strokes big, it's really, really tough to deal with. And the pros are always trying to add power. As I go to the tournament year after year, the players are hitting bigger. They're definitely hitting the ball bigger each and every year. And so if you can add those three things at your level, control, consistency, and power, you're probably going to be one of the better players around the area. So let me show you the elements that are really, really key to have this on your tennis ball. Okay, so the first thing we're going to cover in this video is control. What do you need to have good control over the tennis ball? First of all, you need to understand the levers in your body that control the tennis ball. The first thing right here, you want to build up your control from the ground up. You want to have a good base. So when you're getting ready to play, you want to be in an athletic stance, and then you really want to work off of what I like to call the open option. So what is the open option? Why is it so important? The footwork for controlling the ball is huge, and lots of players don't do this at the recreational level where all the pros do. When you get ready to hit, you always want to be set up in what I like to call an open option ground stroke, whether you're hitting a forehand or a backhand. What that means is I'm set up in usually like a semi-open stance, and now I have the option to either hit the ball open, right, or step into my shot. I have that option, and you really want to get very aware of how your hip and your feet move together along with your shoulders. If you can connect those three things, your feet, your hips, and your shoulders, you're going to be able to control the direction of the ball. This is how you control the direction of the ball. So if I want to hit cross court, and let's say I want to step into the ball, I'm going to be here in my open option, right? And now as I get ready to go to hit, I'm going to push this foot into the ball. See how I'm kind of turning that toe and then leading this hip right here, and then my shoulders follow along. And then look how I stepped. I stepped out to the cross court. If I want to hit down the line and step in, again, I'll be in that open option. And now as I get ready to hit, again, my hip is going to push down the line, and then I'm going to close up my step a little bit more that way. And then if you want to hit in just a pure open shot, again, you want to really now be very well connected to your hips and your shoulders, especially your shoulders. I find when people go to hit pure open stance for the first time, they end up shanking a lot of balls because they'll be here, they'll be in that open option, and then they've seen the pros rotate so much, so they're over rotating, they're pulling out of that, and they're missing a lot of balls wide. What you want to be able to do is get here, and then you want to feel those shoulders come out together to your target, okay? So really be in control of your shoulders and your hips, and feel that foot. That foot's always going to kind of make that hip happen by doing a little turn into the ball. So that's how you can control the ball going back and forth. Now, how you control the heights is also super important. You want to be aware of how your racket head moves through the ball. If your racket is going to stay level longer, you're going to hit more of a flatter shot. If you're swinging more of an upswing right there, especially if you get your legs low, you can hit the ball high. And you want to be able to go up and down the elevator, I like to call it, where sometimes you can intentionally hit the ball low over the net, then you can hit the ball a mid-range shot over the net, and then you can hit the ball super high over the net. If you do that, you become a much more complex player to figure out. So that's how you can control a tennis ball. Now let's talk about how you can be consistent with a tennis ball when you're hitting it. All right, so in my mind, there's two basic ways to be consistent with hitting a tennis ball. Too many people do what I call tweening their shots, meaning that they want to hit it, but they also want that control and consistency, so they end up decelerating through the contact point. And when you do that, this is usually, you're going to be an inconsistent player, especially if you do add a tweak to it to where you open up your hand to try and control it. You've got to learn how to trust your shot if you're going to hit the ball. So this is for people who want to really hit the ball. You got to make sure that A, you're leading usually with an edge. So if you want to hit topspin, you're leading with the top edge of your racket and you're really accelerating on the ball. You need that acceleration. If you start to slow down your swing, that's when the ball goes out. So you got to learn to trust the acceleration and lead with the edge of power. If you want to hit a slice shot, it's the opposite. Now you're leading with the bottom edge of the racket and you're going to that tennis ball and going through it. And this is going to be more usually of a smooth gliding shot. You don't want to swing super fast on this shot. So there are different paces that you swing at, but you've got to understand what kind of spin you're playing on the ball. If you're hitting the ball just to hit it and you don't know if you're hitting top spin or slice on the ball, then you really can't go for your shot. If you have no spin on the ball, sure, you have to be really, really good, but you can develop a nice, firm, consistent, flat shot, but you've got to be hitting a lot of tennis balls to do that. So if you're not putting much spin on the ball, you can still be consistent. You probably can't be very offensive, but you can push the ball in and then you can still make a lot of shots. Even if the racket face is a little open, a lot of those will still go in. So this goes for all players though. All players, I think, have to push some of their shots. So you also, if you want to be consistent, you also have to know your own game, your own strengths, your physical abilities, because at some point you do have to compromise and take your foot off of the gas, okay? So if you're seeing a ball and you're barely getting there and you're still trying to swing at it and flail at it, you're probably going to be an inconsistent player, because that's a bad decision. Even the pros, when they run really far, will get there sometimes and just push the ball in play. So that's another element of becoming a consistent tennis player, is you have to understand when it's time to pull the trigger on your shot and when it's time to compromise and maybe just push and place the ball in. That's also going to make you a consistent player. Okay guys, now let's talk about power. Let's talk about power. How do you create the power? The first thing you need to be able to do, it's really about racket head speed, but also how long you stay with the tennis ball. The longer you stay through a tennis ball, you're going to hit the ball, generally you're going to hit it lower and faster. And if you have a lot of racket head speed and you really connect in your body with the ball, so you can have a lot of racket head speed, but if your body's not connecting with your swing, you're not going to hit a hard shot. So it's connecting in the kinetic chain, which is built through the ground up. It's connecting with all that and racket head speed together. And if you get some length into your swing, then you can hit a hard driving, fast ball, and you can knock your opponent out with one shot. But you want to make sure that you pick the right shot to do that at, because especially we are not as good as the pros, so we have to be more selective when we're just going to go all out and hit the ball. Another thing with the power is you really want to focus on being relaxed and focus on this hip. So I recommend that if you want to start really learning how to hit the ball hard, is you focus on your grip tension and your hip, and then your length, and be aware of that, and maybe start out hitting some shadow strokes or some ground strokes slow. Too many people who want to add power to their game, they end up coming out to the practice court, they end up swinging really, really fast right off the bat. You want to build that power and timing. Timing is also another big reason why the pros hit the ball hard. Their timing is impeccable. You can see someone like us trying to hit the ball, and we're not hitting it near as hard as the pros, and sometimes we look like we're working harder. Sometimes it looks like maybe we might be swinging faster. Well, rarely do we look like that, but I think you get the point. But lots of times you'll watch the pros hit, and they're starting slow and smooth, and they're connecting. They're connecting that timing to the ball, and even without really swinging so fast, for you and me watching it, they're hitting the ball quite hard enough to win your tennis matches. So it's not all just about making your racket go faster that's necessarily going to make the ball go faster, or trying harder, or gripping the racket harder and muscling it. This is all going to slow it down. So you've got to develop that timing of connection, connecting at the right time. It's like getting up on a surfboard, riding on the wave. You connect it at the right time, then that's where the magic happens. So what you want to connect is the hip and the hand. You connect the hip, pushing forward, and the hand. The hip is going to commit first, and then the hand's going to come through and nice and relaxed. And the more you can reach through the contact point and hit a good part of the strings, that's when the ball is going to take off. And then the faster you can do that motion and still connect, then you're going to hit the ball hard and consistent with control. All right, so hopefully this video really, really helped you. And if it did, I have more help on the way. You saw today I was hitting off of a slinger bag, and they're part of my flagship event called TennisCon. And we're up to TennisCon number 6, where we have the best instructors in the world. Yesterday I was talking to Ryan Reedy from 2 Minute Tennis. He says, Pete, I'm going to give you a fantastic lesson. And earlier in the week I was talking to Scott from Play Your Court. Scott and Nate from I was actually talking to Nate from Play Your Court, and he's going to give us a fantastic event. Lisa Dotson, Maribon from the Tennis Summit. I was talking to Will from Fuzzy Yellow Balls yesterday. I'm going to be talking to Racket Flex today. I'm telling you, these are the best instructors on the planet. Your favorite instructors are part of TennisCon 6, and their goal is to help you play a bigger and better brand of tennis, just like this video is about. So if you want to play bigger and better and smarter, make sure you get your free ticket to TennisCon number 6, because when you do, you enter a raffle to win a free slinger bag. Plus, Tennis Express is also going to be giving you a free gift just for signing up. Well, you're going to be entered into a raffle to win a big free gift just for signing up for TennisCon number 6. Make sure to like this video. Remember, every time you like one of these videos, my buddy B2 will give you 100 free B2 puppy kisses, and we'll see you guys on the next video.